Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamika Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are doing something really exciting. We are doing a full year-end review for 2019. Now, for all throughout the year, I track my spending. You guys see that when I'm working through my expense trackers and closing out my budget month to month. But I also do my yearly spending overview worksheet that looks like this. So when I'm done closing out my budget at the end of every month, I write my total amounts for my budget categories in each one of these columns for the different months. And as you can see, this entire worksheet is now filled out. So why is this important? So for me, at the end of the year, I was always asking myself questions like, I wonder how much I spent on food last year. Not just month, but for the entire year. Or how much did I spend on my son last year? Now, what you decide to categorize your spending, your different categories, is completely up to you. Some people like to make it really, really detailed. For me, for my son, everything, sports, clothing, daycare, everything is lumped together under one category. My son, James. So I also thought this would be a really good time to go over what exactly are included in my budget categories. For instance, utilities. What is spent in that category? Miscellaneous category. What is that? Fun category. What do I consider fun purchases? I get a lot of questions here on YouTube and on my Instagram, like, can you explain a little bit more what you are spending in each one of those categories? Some people really like to get very, very detailed when it comes to looking at overview recaps such as this. I know a lot of people like to track, for instance, for their children, they like to separate out childcare, clothing, sports activities. I like to simplify, and I really learned that simplifying these processes, especially your budget categories, will make things a lot easier for you as you start to get a lot more doing a lot more complicated things in your budget, like closing out your budget and looking at all of the different analytics for where did your money go worksheets in the budget by paycheck workbook. So my yearly spending overview, this worksheet is free in BVP Central for anyone that bought a version of the workbook. So what I did is I tracked all of my income. Now remember, my income that I have, my total monthly income at the top here, is not just earned income. So this was savings that I ended up using. This is alimony. This is child support. It is also your paycheck income, but it's also if you want to track gift card spending, that gift card amount that you're using is income for the month. So it's not all just quote unquote earned income or paycheck income. All of my budget categories are down here on the side. Now, food is eating out and grocery shopping for me. In the year 2019, it was amazing. I had to go back and check my numbers and double check because I could not believe it. So for the year 2019, I only spent $4,083 on food costs, and that includes eating out as well. I mean, I went back to my expense trackers and double checked the numbers because it just seems really low. But I mean, I only did like $253 in January. I did, $201 in November. So that was really a big win for me personally, because I know in 2018, my food category was a lot higher than that. Now, also keep in mind, in January 2019, I paid off the last remaining bit of my debt. I became 100% debt-free at that time. So I only have 1 month filled out. $1,031 was all that was left in January, and I paid that off. Another thing to keep in mind, some of my categories are so low as far as the dollar amount spent, and they don't really work out to percentages in my overview, but I'll still show you what that dollar amount was. Another really big one, which was really huge for me, in my 2019, I saved 31% of my income. I saved a total of $31,874 in the year 2019. So I made these cute little graphics to kind of show you, and this is great because maybe if you're telling yourself, You do a yearly overview and your food spending seems really crazy high to you. This is really great, this type of awareness in your life for your finances, because you can then begin to challenge yourself the following year. And make really big goals as far as your finances go. And then what you do is you create baby steps that you need to take every month to reach that overall bigger goal by the end of the year. So for instance, these little graphics I just made in Canva just as a visual to show you food. I spent 5% of my overall income went to food. 1% went to paying off my debt, 2% went to my car. Now, let's talk about what my car category is. My car category is car maintenance, such as oil changes. It's also gas purchases. So car maintenance and gas is included in my car category. 2% of my overall income in 2019 went to that category. Utilities, $5,410 or 5% of my overall income went to that category. What do I include in my utilities? It's not just the lights and the water in your home. For me, I include Hulu, Spotify, Netflix, my cell phone, and then of course it's a Vista, which is my water and my heat. So all of that is included in my utilities. Beauty category, I spent 3% of my overall income last year on beauty. What is beauty? It's my salon appointments. It's my hair, shampoo, and conditioner. It's my face lotion that I use every morning and every night. That's all beauty category for me. James, my son, I'd mentioned, it's childcare, it's sports activities, it's clothing. I can get through pretty much the entire year without spending a whole lot on clothing. I do have a clothing cash envelope that I save into every single month. I'm not the type of person that purchases clothes a lot every month. So when I do clothes shopping, I usually go like every 6 months and I'll pick up a few items. For my son, I do a lot of thrift shopping. I can usually get his entire wardrobe for back to school for under $100. So I really challenge myself in that area, and I think that just stems from my background with what got me into debt in the first place. It was credit card spending, and a lot of that credit card spending was on clothes that I didn't need, and in fact were still hanging in my closet a year later with the tag still on them. And so now for me, I really try to stay away from the shopping malls, away from places, like TJ Maxx and Ross and that type of stuff. Home. So home includes my apartment rent, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, paper towels, all of that for the home is in that category. I spent 10% of my overall income last year on the home category. Holidays. So this is very straightforward, but for me, it doesn't just include presents. It includes a food budget for when family gatherings for the holidays. It includes travel costs to get to places for the holidays. It's everything holiday related. And 2% of my income went towards that category. Insurance. 8% of my income went towards insurance. So insurance is like things like my car, medical insurance, dental insurance. Now, the big killer for me is my medical insurance. Last year, I was paying over $580 a month as someone who is self-employed and is forced to go through the exchange here in the state of Washington. So that was the big killer and why that category is so high. Savings for me, every area of my life that I'm saving. So it's not just my 401k or retirement. It's not just my son's College America account. It's all savings in my life. 31% of my income. Now, I spent 8% on vacation spending. So that's all travel related costs, ticket, airfare, hotel, transportation while we're there, food while we're there. All of that is included in the vacation. So looking at this, now that I know my entire year's numbers, my overview for the year, just looking at this very quickly, I know a couple of different things. I wouldn't mind if I increased my food budget a little bit more and decrease my insurance. The great thing about this is I already decreased my insurance for this year. I was actually able to add my son onto my ex-husband's insurance through his employer, which is a lot cheaper for us. And that decreased my overall medical and dental insurance by over $300 starting in January. So I might compensate for a little bit of that decrease in my food budget. Another area that I see immediately is my savings. Now, I am blessed. I am fortunate. 31% of my overall income going to savings isn't a huge, huge win for me. I would like to see that at 50%. So I have a little bit more to go to work on for that goal. But previously in another YouTube video, I had explained a little bit more about my financial goals and how I'm really challenging and pushing myself to get better at saving more of my income. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is my savings breakdown. This goes hand in hand with the debt and savings breakdown worksheet in the Budget by Paycheck workbook. It's important to know not how much you save for the entire year. It's great to know I saved $31,000, but what specifically am I saving for? Now, maybe when you are doing your yearly overview spending and you have debt, it's great to know the overall debt, but maybe break that down into what type of debt you're paying. You could even, for me, when I was paying off my debt, I broke it down by exactly the credit card specifically. And there's a very important reason for that. You want to make sure that your spending is aligning with financial goals. And the number one thing that people have a really hard time prioritizing in their finances is goals. And not just goals, but savings goals, because our minds are wired in a way where we want to save for so many different things. We get pulled in 10,000 directions. It's hard to focus on those priority saving goals that mean a lot to us and that would really bring a lot of value to our lives. So out of the $31,000 that I saved, 9% went towards sinking funds. So it's my future holidays and events that I'm saving for in advance. It's things like Christmas, birthdays, 4th of July, those types of things. 76% of the money that I saved went towards my house savings goal. $23,800 went towards that goal. 5% of the money I went towards my son's school and future education. Now, this category, the $5 challenge, is very interesting. So I started the $5 challenge in the middle of December, and it's included in one of my savings categories, but I only saved $65, so that's 0%. Car maintenance, 1% went towards that. And my car maintenance fund, I have a newer car. It's a 2016 Jeep Patriot. I'm thinking about turning my car maintenance fund into a new car fund, a new car essentially savings account. Because right now I'm cash flowing a lot of my oil changes and routine maintenance out of my checking account cushion, and I'm not using my car maintenance savings account, so I might change that, the title of that. 7% went towards vacation savings, and then 2% went towards Disneyland. Here's why it's important to break this down. Just by looking at this, you can see you might not even know who I am. You may not even know my priorities or what's important to me. But by looking at this one sheet of paper, it tells you. Obviously, a big one. Number one for me in 2019 was saving for my new house. And then the next highest one was preparing for the future, vacations, my son's future, and then our trip to Disneyland, in that order. And that's exactly the priority order in which I want to save for things and the things that are important to me. So that's very quickly my breakdown of my spending. Let's talk about very quickly financial goals, especially financial goals and resolutions. I know it's a big topic right now because we're in the beginning of the year. Everyone's excited about improving habits and making better changes for their lives. It's important to understand that financial resolutions and financial goals are completely two separate things. Financial goals are things that you want to achieve in a very specific time frame. For instance, 2020 would be 1 year. Financial resolutions are things that you want to get better at over a longer period of time. So you're wanting to make lasting improvements in your life by making day-to-day changes in the habits that you're forming. So let me give you an example. My New Year's resolution for 2020, one of them is to make saving for my son's future more of a priority in my life. It's something that I can strive to do better at every single day by making it, more present in my life and being more aware of it. My financial goal for that, though, is I want to set aside $450 every paycheck for my son's future college savings account. Do you see the difference? One's something that I can get better at every single day. Another one is very specific for a very specific time frame. I made my 2019 goals in January last year, and I thought it'd be really cool to recap with you guys my goals that I set for myself and did I achieve them last year. One of them was to pay off my debt. I did that. These are the action steps. So anytime you create a goal does not become a goal until there is action steps in how you're going to achieve it. It's very important to have those action baby steps so you have a clear path in which you need to take. So I wanted to pay off my student loans first, tackle the highest interest rate. I was going to do that by using $500 a month for my business income to achieve it. Second, I was going to tackle my car loan. $1,000 a month I was going to use for my business income. Very clear action steps. Leave my full-time job. I ended up doing that in February of 2019. Save for emergencies. I needed to change my business to a corporation. I needed to set and design a set schedule for myself when I became self-employed. Those were my baby action steps to achieve that goal. Save cash for a house. I achieved this goal last year in December of 2019. My goal was $400,000. So my goal was to literally use every single cent from my business income that I could save outside from taking care of my business and making sure all of that was taken care of, but anything set aside was going to go towards my house savings. So I wanted to start with a $100,000 goal, really take it in bite-sized chunks, and that's how I was going to prioritize that savings. I needed to decrease my food spending. Food was a horrible, horrible budget killer for me, and I knew that I couldn't save as much as I wanted to for my house goal if I didn't tackle my food budget first. Cut out unnecessary expenses from my budget. So that was literally me going through every single one of my monthly bills. So I had completed and was able to be successful with all my financial goals. This financial goal worksheet is in my free resource library. I think it's really fun to write down your goals in the beginning of the year. Come back to them at the end. Look at your baby steps. So it's really important for me, I think it's really fun to list out your goals, list out your action steps, and then come back to it a year later. Did you complete and were you successful with all of your action steps? It's probably why you didn't reach your main goal. So that was one thing I wanted to show you for 2019. Another thing is, this is where I left off with my sinking funds in 2019. I thought this is what I was going into the new year. Besides these were 2019 goals, but all of these 2020 goals, I went into the new year with all of these savings. So saving a little bit every single month for future holidays and events was a big aha moment for me in my financial journey. It's probably one of the biggest and most significant changes that I made that had a really big impact in the way that I managed my money. And so I just thought it was really cool to show you where I left off in 2019 to start the new year. So now that we just got done talking about my 2019 year-end review, let's talk a little bit what you're going to be seeing in the new year 2020 here on my YouTube channel. So for the last year, I had just an amazing time, and it's been a wonderful experience showing you my real numbers here with the budget by paycheck method. But I also realize, and I know it's really important that you guys see diversification. The budget by paycheck method can literally be customized in thousands of different ways. I designed it for that pure reason. Any pay schedule, any family size, any income level, it really can be customized to any of those situations. So what I've decided to do is I want to start sharing my readers' budgets here on YouTube. Not just that though, I want to start sharing how I would organize their budgets using my budget by paycheck method. I think it's important that you guys see someone else who isn't just getting paid maybe once a month. Maybe they're getting paid every week. Maybe they're getting paid bi-weekly. Maybe they're getting paid on a set time frame. Maybe they're working with a spouse and they have 8 paychecks a month that they're dealing with. I really want to show you all of those different scenarios. I think it's really going to help you and be a lot more relatable to you in your life. So that's what we're going to start doing here in 2020, is showing you those different budgets using my budget by paycheck method. If you would like to submit your budget to be included here on YouTube, I will also be featuring on my Instagram stories. You can email budgets@thebudgetmom.com. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. That's it. That was very, I think, helpful. I think that had a lot of helpful tips. More than what I thought I was going to say. It just came out.
No, that's good. Let's talk.
Oh my God, I know how I'm going to say it.